following video is for mature adult audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
But yeah, no, thanks again for doing this. I'm really excited to talk to you again. I know like the last time we chatted was like, I think in August. And I think that was a couple of weeks after you announced that you were the official artist for the cards.
It doesn't feel that long ago. I guess it isn't that long ago, really.
It's not.
Yeah.
It feels like a while.
Well, yeah, it's just like, because I'm thinking the release was September 10th,
Right.
and I think that seemed pretty certain for about a week ahead. Like people kind of figured it out based on their like local stores and stuff.
Yeah.
When the release was going to be, and when we talked, I know that it was still like a big who knows. So
yeah, they hadn't announced a date. I
Yeah.
remember that they said like sometime in September, and or actually,
I'm not sure.
Did they even say a month?
They said it would be September, but I don't know if they ever announced a date. Like even when everybody just kind of like had figured out that it would be the 10th, I still never really saw that official, and I was like, okay, you guys, I mean, we'll see. So.
Yeah, it was really weird. Because you're right. I remember seeing somewhere that they had picked a date, but I was like, okay, this could just be some like random website picking a date.
Yeah.
And then I was constantly checking like the Upper Deck website to see if they officially announced it, and they didn't say anything for a while.
Yeah.
On the 10th, no one said anything. No one said I got, no one said I got the cards, I got the box. No one said anything. So I was like, did it come out?
But there were a lot of people there's a Facebook group, Marvel card collectors.
Yes.
And those guys are like the hardcore detectives, and that was where people were like putting the pieces together and like getting all set to do their live box breaks and everything.
Yes.
And because I remember the first person who mentioned it to me was like, well, it got pushed back this time, it got pushed back this time, so it looks like that it's the 10th. I was like, well, that's not very convincing. If it got pushed back twice, what's to say it won't get pushed back a third time? But
right.
That one stuck. So
yeah. Well, it's like I'm still waiting for another delay, but there's But yeah, it was really crazy because there were people on that group who were like, I've got the cards, but it's like, but you're not in America, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like in Europe and in Asia, and I was like, okay, well,
I would have thought that would be, I would have expected, especially now that everybody in other parts of the world would be a week or two behind at least.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. Well, especially with just delivery times in general.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was calling because, I don't go after these trading cards as much anymore. And but I was like, I should see and call some of my local comic shops and stuff. And even they didn't know if they were going to get an order or a shipment in. Like they said they'd put in an order, but they were like, I don't know if our distributor is going to give it to us. They said maybe. And then like, if they don't know, then how are we supposed to know?
Yeah, that's what I heard from just like some anecdotal stuff about people, like when the product arrives, it's like, I guess now we'll find out how much of our order we were able to get, so. Yeah.
And even if they did get it in, they were only almost guaranteed like 1 or 2 boxes, which is really crazy
per customer.
Yeah. And I don't know what this type of trading card collecting has been recently, but I remember it not being this like scarce, like I remember just being able to go somewhere and there'd just be tons of them, but now it's like you got to know people.
It's
crazy.
It's very different from like the 90s was the last time that I was collecting cards, and totally different landscape. It seems like the sports card like evolutions that have happened in the past, I guess, 30 years have really kind of changed the way that they approach something like this now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't even know that like there were different tiers.
The serial numbers and all that.
And like, there's like, there's the metallurgy, and then there's the sketch card, and then there's the signature card. It's like, I only remember that there's only 160 cards and that's it. But now there's there's so many versions. It's so crazy. And I was just like, wow, this is, I guess that's what happens when you don't collect cards for over a decade. You're just like, there's too many.
there's just like so much design that goes into it. A lot of it is stuff that I would never even thought of. But yeah, I was listening to an interview with one of the guys who had designed some of the earlier sets, who was talking about like making sure, like planning what they're going to look like when they're in 9-page binders, so that you don't have chase card sets that like don't fit the 9-page layout and stuff like that, which is why I think the tiers 1 through 4 are broken up. So the like tier 4, there's 9 cards, even though you would think it would be like number 9, or what would it be, 81 to 90, but it's 82 to 90. You know, it's like little details like that. I'm like, oh, super cool.
Yeah. No, I'm my level of collecting is like very surface level. It's not like that kind of detail where it's like, you know, like that. I never would have even thought of that.
I love like just when you know that like the people who are designing something are really looking at the user experience and paying attention to the details like that, you know.
Totally.
Because that is, I know, like when I would be putting cards in my binders years back, if I ended up with like one blank space at the end of the page before it went to the next set, it was like, well, this is frustrating.
Oh yeah, it drives you crazy, you know. And sometimes if you had 10 cards, you'd have to put that in one of the sleeves, and so you'd have one pocket with 2 cards in it, because you don't want to have one card in a, you know, on a page by itself. That's weird.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that driving me crazy. So you were saying the last time, like, did you even receive your own box or any pack of cards yourself?
They did send me some, and I'm like having a weird. I haven't opened anything. They sent me some, and they're like sitting there, and I'm deciding like, do I open these? Do I give these to people? Like, I don't know, you know, it's and obviously like there's no rush to do anything. So
Sure.
I'm just kind of like thinking about it. I know how hard it is to put together, like to just put together a base set seems like a challenge. But I'm like watching people's box breaks, and it looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch people like enjoying the surprise of what they're going to get and everything. So so like for the time being, I'm just kind of like got a lot of other things that I'm doing right now, and so I'm like, I'm just going to put that aside and, you know, come back to that.
Totally.
So.
It's not going anywhere. Save it for, you know, a rainy day. I mean, literally a rainy day. I'm sure you'll that's funny. So do you mind if we do a box break right now? Is that cool?
Yeah.
You know, I also have been waiting, and I was like, I should open this with you.
This will be fun. I hope you get something crazy in there.
Okay. So like I said earlier, I haven't collected these since like 94, 95. And so I've never bought an entire box, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I've only ever bought packs. So this is a first. I've never bought one of these before.
Yeah.
Never opened one of these before. I didn't even know that this was called a box break until like last week, to be honest, because I've never done this before.
Sure.
So
no, a lot of this is really new to me too. I have seen some people mention that even if you have the option to buy single packs, it's smarter to do the box, because then like you've got the guaranteed sketch card and all that kind of stuff that with single packs you know you don't. I guess you're just playing at a higher risk game there, like, you know.
Well, it's funny because, you know, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure these things are going to go for a lot, right, naturally. And I was like, I'll just buy like 1 or 2 packs, you know, 1 or 2. No one knew how much each pack was because no one buys packs.
I think it's hard to even find anybody selling it that way. Yeah. I've seen like, and I think there was one store that was doing that. And again, it's just like, and as maybe doesn't make the most sense.
Right. Yeah. And even if you did find somebody who had these available, they wouldn't sell it to you in packs. You'd have to buy it as a box.
Yeah.
There's still one more thing here. Yeah. So yeah, what do you, I also have a slideshow prepared because, you know, you've been releasing some of the art. Oh yeah, here we go. So It's pretty fancy.
Nice. Yeah.
Um,
I like that.
smells like a new car.
Also the packaging looks nice, but also that like buffer
It, it really
around the
does.
edges to keep it protected.
I don't think they used to do this. I'm pretty
No.
sure it used to just be a cardboard box, and if it was bent, it was bent.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, cool. So, I'm gonna open one of these packs. That sound good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Did you know that ASMR unwrapping videos is a thing too?
I am not surprised.
Yeah. They just,
Yeah.
like this
It's
is a
like
thing.
whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, I feel like whatever your interest is,
Yeah.
ASMR videos exist for it.
This is the all-in-one video. So the thing that I'm disappointed about is that there's only 3 cards per pack.
Hmm.
That makes me so sad because 3 cards per pack, that's like nothing, you know?
Yeah, but each card is as thick as like 6 cards. So
Right. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
okay.
Okay. So here's the first one. And I'm just looking at the back right now. And I'm very excited because this is actually one of my favorite.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. Focus.
Yeah, I thought seeing all the what ifs was really cool too. There's something
Yes.
when type gets laid over top of art that always is really satisfying to me.
Yeah.
And,
did they tell you? Were you aware that there was going to be a bunch of what ifs, and so were you conscious?
I knew that was going to be a parallel set, and I knew that I think that they just told me to not crowd the top of the frame because a lot of the what ifs rely on the upper portion. But obviously, like this one you have here, they're using it. Yeah, like they took some of the text from the top and moved it to the bottom. I thought they did a really cool job the way that they fitted the art to some of these templates. Because yeah, I didn't know what it was going to actually be. I just had a general sense of it. So
yeah, and it's good that they didn't always follow. Like I know they tried to take an existing cover and just port the graphics over to your art, but I'm glad that they actually like moved things around so that it would make more sense.
Yeah, there's a couple of them with speech bubbles. I think like, is it the Nick Fury one? I can't remember. There's a couple that have speech bubbles that are pretty cool. I think Hemdall has a speech bubble where it's like, oh, that's really fun. Like, didn't expect that either.
This is Beast.
Nice.
Is this a metallurgy or is this not?
No, that's holofoil.
Got it. See, there's so many new terms that I am not familiar with.
Yeah, I think the metallurgy is a new one that they haven't done prior to this particular set. I think it's actual metal. I've not seen one in person, but my understanding is they're actual pieces of metal.
I mean, wow, they're really getting creative with their cards.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's a cool one. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, I hope I get this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's just really cool. It's cool that they add these little silver elements on the sides of the cards.
Yeah, the borders, which are, it seems similar but different with every set.
Really?
Yeah, that was another thing that I knew there was going to be some type of border, and I knew there was going to be the name text at the bottom. And so I had awareness of that in my planning, but I didn't know exactly like what the border was going to look like this time around.
Let me see. Mind if we do another one?
Yeah.
We'll do. I was only planning to do a couple of these with you.
Nah,
I just thought it'd be nice to get some
like you start
commentary
eating
from
your potato chips, and it's just like, and now I just want more.
That's right. I know it's kind of fun. It's like I remember opening these packs, but I remember opening them really fast, where I didn't really like enjoy the process of doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so excited for this one. Okay. So I was gonna save this for the slideshow, but since I got this in the pack, remember when we were talking about? Well, you'd mentioned that there was going to be one character that you were definitely your face was definitely on the character. Okay, and so I was like figuring out who could that be, and there I had a bunch of potential characters like that's probably him, but I wasn't sure. And I'll show you the ones I thought who you were, but I'm absolutely.
Well, you might be right on some of the others too, because
I
did kind of use my face for a couple,
right?
But there's one that there's one that I was just like not gonna try to make myself not look like me.
Yeah. Well, I saw this. I saw this last night, and I was like, "That's him." I'm very excited. All right, here we go.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm so happy, and I was like, "That's David." That's incredible. And this is Wizard. I was like, "Who's Wizard?"
Yeah, one of those villains that I don't know if he was an Avengers villain primarily. I remember.
You're right.
Is he okay?
Yeah, it's in the Avengers. Yep.
I remember, like, I know that I read at least one or two comics with him in. So I remember actually he's in the issue that was the very first Doctor Strange appearance, which was one of those like half the comic was one story and then half the comic was like, we're going to introduce a new character, Doctor Strange. And the Wizard was in the non-Doctor Strange half. It was like Wizard versus the Human Torch, something like that.
Interesting.
But,
yeah.
Back from my collecting days.
Yeah, right. I know it's cool that and I think you mentioned this in another interview where you know you were kind of excited to paint some of these obscure characters because for some collectors this might be the first time that they are exposed to that character, and so you're kind of getting to define that character for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I guess also just like not so much defining the character, but getting a chance to really like, a lot of them probably haven't had like a fully painted depiction necessarily. I don't know if there's another painted Pip the Troll, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was fun.
This is the Hood. Kind of looks like Doctor Strange with guns.
I think that the Hood is a character that I never actually read any stories, but the Hood got around, and I know at one point the Hood had Infinity Stones, and I'm not sure, I could be wrong, I don't have my note cards with me, but I seem to remember reading that the Hood was a Sorcerer Supreme at some point. I might be mixing that up.
That's right.
I know for sure that he had Infinity Stones at one point, but
okay, yeah, so he is a Doctor Strange villain or in that world. Yeah, okay. Now that sounds right.
Could be way off on that one. That was not a character that I was particularly familiar with.
Yeah. Well, it looks cool. I really like it. Oh, this one's fun. So this is the last card on the second pack right here.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. It's very cool.
Thanks. Yeah, that was fun. That was a pretty early one. I'm trying to remember. That was definitely one of the first couple of groups that I did.
It's kind of neat because usually this type of pose is reserved for like Spider-Man, you know? And it's cool to see one of the villains in that pose.
Yeah, and it felt like, you know, lizards hang out on rocks all.
They do. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. What song were you listening to when you were painting Lizard?
Oh, shit. I have my list here.
I know you listen to
some of them. I remember
songs
right off the top of my head, and some of them, I think that one might have been "Hybrid Moments" by the Misfits.
That's a good one. I'm gonna save these rappers.
I think the Lizard is under T on my list for the. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. A funny song to mix it up with, "Wolf Like Me" by TV on the Radio. Kind of a.
I don't think I've heard that one. I'll have to look it up.
I think that Hybrid Moments might have been an early alternate pick, and then I ended up feeling like Wolf Like Me was the one I wanted to go with. You might not. You might know it if you heard it. I don't know.
I'm sure.
Uh,
I hear a lot of songs and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, but I just don't know the artist or the song name.
yeah.
But all right, we'll do one more. Just one more. We gotta do 3, right? That's
Yeah.
usually that was
Yeah. Then you've got your 9-page.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I never bought just like one at a time. I think when I was a kid, I always bought 3. Like that just felt like a good, because back then there was like 7 or 8 cards per pack. So, like after 3 packs, you have like a good amount.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to pick a pack from the bottom of the box.
Oh, okay.
That's what I used to do that too.
Yeah.
Grab one at
That's definitely something I remember is like,
yeah.
There was always like the one kid at the store who claimed he knew where they put the good pack in each box.
Yep. Did you also know somebody who would feel the pack and be like, okay, this is like a hologram?
I mean, we would all do that kind of stuff. Like, don't take the one on the top. Take the,
Yeah. Yep. All the tricks. I was going to say, this one's kind of hard to open. Does that mean that there's
it's
cards
all
sticker?
good signs, right? It's all.
Yeah. I'm trying not to, I don't want to like puncture the thickness of the card. Okay. I've been very careful about the way I open these, and I'm just going to like,
tear in.
Stuff. The other thing that also kind of made me kind of nervous was that they don't, the packs used to have different designs on them, remember? Like they were different characters. And I was like, these are all Venom. They're trying to confuse me. They just want you to think that, they're all, don't worry about which pack it is. Whatever you're gonna get it's random, which is true.
That's such a funny detail that I really forgot about. Yeah, that there would be like 3 or 4 different.
Character designs for the packs. And now it's just all Venom.
Man, it's just like so much nostalgia. Just like remembering that stuff.
Well, okay, I'm looking at the back of this right now. I'm not going to look at the front yet, but you'll probably be able to tell which card this is. I'm not looking at the front. Let's see. But so you've done a couple of versions for a few characters. Is that correct? Like you've done 2 or 3 different paintings per character. So I think I've seen both the Spider-Man ones. I don't know which one this is going to be.
I know from the back which one it's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome. I was hoping I would get this. That's sweet. And has this. Do they all have your signature on them?
No, that's another. That's another one of the parallels is the gold signatures.
That's so exciting. I'm glad that your signature's on this one. And it's like it's in like the perfect spot. Because the rest of this painting is, it kind of, there's not too much detail here. So I think that was perfect. That's awesome. I'm going to put that over here next to Wizard. I used to, whenever I put them down, I would put like the ones I really liked and the ones I kind of liked and the ones that are like, eh. And that's definitely going to go in the pile that I'm going to like keep. Okay. There's 2 cards left in here. Yes.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And this is a canvas one?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They definitely did not used to do this back in the day.
No.
Yeah,
I remember the big foil, like the big grain foil, and then every once in a while there'd be a set with those holograms.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I like the change in the texture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. This is actually one of the characters I thought was you.
Oh, no.
I was like,
that one is not. No. There's a couple that are me that you would never know because I would use myself. I think like Lizard was me, because It's like I can get away with that.
Oh, I see. Like
no chance that that's going to look like me.
Interesting.
But on the whole, I used myself as a model in this set like very, very little, especially compared to normally I use myself a lot more often. And I just didn't think I'd be able to do it right if I was, it's like I need to find people who are more like athletically built than I am to.
Right. Because then, you tend to.
I can fake that to a certain extent, but
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. And especially like if you have a character who's supposed to be very flexible and doing like these ridiculous
Mhm.
poses, you probably want somebody who can get close to that.
I did have a couple models who were like dancers or actually
Mm.
like he's not being utilized in this way on the Gambit card, but the model who posed for that does a lot of like acrobatic
Really?
performance, and yeah, so some other stuff that I've used him for where he's doing like some more kind of like challenging poses and that kind of thing.
That's
Um,
pretty cool.
yeah,
Was
yeah. I
Gambit?
mean, that's a. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, is Gambit in the danger room? Is that where he is, or was
Oh, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't really think of that as a specific
location?
location. I just more of like
Oh, cool.
this big circular window behind him is just like a design tool that I
Yeah,
wanted to use.
it's great because at first I thought he was in front of a sentinel, because
Oh,
the
cool.
sentinels have these are the things I think about. Like, oh, okay, where is
Sure,
he?
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
it works. It could be danger room, could be in front of a sentinel. It's great. It's just you leave it just enough for us to come up with something. All right, this is the last one. This is card number 9. One of the coolest ones. Did they leave it up to you on which version of Dr. Octopus you got? Because obviously over the years there's different versions and costumes and variations.
Yeah.
Did they leave it up to
That's the
you?
one. That's the one that I would have picked, but they actually did send me. I got folders of costume reference for each character, and they specified. I think of that, I guess, as like kind of the 70s, 80s Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one. Like, if I visualize the character, that's the one that I think of, with the bowl cut and the
Yeah,
triangular sunglasses.
that's right. With like the hazard jumpsuit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, that was really fun, David. I thank you for participating in that. I think that was pretty cool. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna share my screen really quick. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was basically gonna. I can't remember if you'd mentioned why they chose Venom as the character for the packaging and for basically the all the promotion material.
I don't know. That's not a decision that I was involved in. So I'm not sure like what the criteria was.
Was it one of the earlier ones that you'd finished? Maybe.
No, Venom. So that was I think, is that Venom a holofoil? I think that's, yeah. And I did all the chase cards last, so that would have
Oh.
been probably like maybe February of this year that I was finishing that one up. Feels right.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. It pops. It's easy to recognize. People love Venom, so I think from a marketing standpoint, I think it works. I was just curious. I was like,
Yeah.
of all the characters, because I don't even think I've ever seen a Venom on any of the packs in the past. I'm just very curious. Maybe that's one of the criteria. Is that let's pick a character we haven't used.
Yeah, possibly. I thought it was interesting that they picked a piece that was one of the chase cards also. I don't know if that's unusual or not, but I would have. Yeah, like my guess was that they would have picked like maybe
a base card.
Well, I guess they used Iron Man for the 2018 box, the Bianchi. I think, was it Iron Man on the Bianchi box? I think, unless I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, I don't remember. But
yeah, like there's a couple pieces that I felt were would have been good for the packaging, and then maybe it's a matter of like picking who's a popular character that hasn't been used recently for something like that.
Yeah.
Just a guess. I don't really know. But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would make sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it looks great. So no complaints here.
Thank you.
So yeah, I just wanted to show you some of my favorite, like these are ones that other people have gotten, and I was just like, oh man, I really want these. I mean, especially the Spider-Man versus Mysterio one.
Oh, thanks.
That is, I think it's so great because at first I was like, oh wow, I've never seen Man Spider in one of these Marvel Masterpiece cards, and I realized that it's just what Mysterio's making him see.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, that's so great.
Thanks. Yeah. Always like to be able to work a little bit of horror into the thing, which I feel like that qualifies for is something fun. And yeah, I think that was one of those ones. There was a couple of these where I like sketched it out and I was like, oh wait, I'm pretty sure that somebody already did this, and then I went looking for it and couldn't find it. So I mean, I don't know if I could be wrong about that, but that was one of those ones where I was like, is this I haven't seen this before? Then I'm definitely doing it this way.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not really, I don't think I'm the best person to be asking in terms of like what cards have been done, because I basically skipped almost like a decade. But
yeah, no, I was like I was going back through the comics, because that was something that I was like, I feel for sure that I remember reading this comic where Mysterio turns, and somebody probably, if it does exist, is going to come in and give us the info, but but I wasn't able to track it down if that is something that exists, and it left me feeling like it's like you get those fake memories sometimes of
yes. Well, I think Man Spider has been done before, but with the 6 arms, right? Like, he's either been done where he's like a complete spider, or he's been done where he still has the human arms, but there's 6 of them. So I've seen those versions, but not this one where it's kind of like the grotesque, monstrous version.
Yeah, and even then, like, I don't think Man Spider was a Mysterio created thing. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, Morbius. I think that was part of the Morbius.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just something like once I started like sketching that idea, I was like, oh, definitely gonna go with this one.
Was that kind of like 1 or 2 drafts and you're like, this is it? Like that was, you didn't have to like,
so I feel like the classic Spider-Man Mysterio image is tiny Spider-Man with giant Mysterio, which is Joe Jusko already nailed it in I think it was the 2016 set that he did with a like
yep.
And I was like, well, okay, I can't do anything along the lines of that idea. Like it's done. It's
right.
It's definitive. So so I was just trying to come up with like kind of other possible like visual tricks, like Spider-Man fighting like multiple Mysterios and things like that. And then when I got to some body horror, I was like, this is the one I want to do.
Yeah.
I think there were a few that like I was like, I don't know if Marvel's going to sign off on the concept or not, but I'm really excited. And I think just about every one of them when I turned it in was just like, yep, looks good. So
yes.
Yeah,
that's really great. I think when I saw someone with this, I was like, oh, you lucky. Because and I was like, that's incredible that it looks, I just want like a poster of that. It's like a really great movie horror poster image. And so just wanted to share that with you. And the Doctor Strange, love it.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Let's see here. So
which the model for that one is another artist, Alan Williams, who is a sorcerer of making amazing art. So
well, how fitting was that?
And it was like, because I had such a long lead on the project and I knew I was going to be doing some Doctor Stranges, I was just able to kind of patiently wait until the next time that he and I were in the same place at the same time. And I was like, can I grab you for just a couple photos.
That's funny. And he's like,
yeah.
that's cool that you kind of like made a mental note. You're like, when you come back, I've got you for
There's a
this
couple,
character.
yeah, there were a couple that, like the She-Hulk, there was a
Mm.
very specific person that I wanted to be She-Hulk. And so it was like, okay, I got 2 years to, you know, make that happen. And so I was happy to be able to, you know, sometimes match, like if there was a particular person that I had in mind with the character.
They didn't say, you know, like we need these batches of characters first because for whatever reason, right? They didn't give you like a list, like we need these, even if they weren't base cards, you know, they weren't.
No, I think I'm trying to remember if there was anything like that. So they didn't have the complete checklist for the chase cards finished right away. So I originally sent them my requests, and they sent me back the base 90 set, and they're like, we're still working on the chase cards, but you know, you can at least get started with these. And so just naturally, those were the first ones that pretty much got finished because I had more of a head start on them. And then I don't remember if it was maybe like 6 months in that I got the rest of the list and was able to start planning for those as well. But yeah, I don't remember there being any kind of like we need this before that. I'll correct myself if something jumps into my head, but I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know. So on this slide, these were going to be my top 4 guesses for who you were posing for, like where your face.
Yeah, you got me on the Blade.
Yes. Are you the one with the sunglasses?
It's actually all of them. All of the vampires that Blade is fighting are me. Yeah.
Gotcha. I was like, the Blade one was like almost 100%, but I was like, okay, but there's got to be, you know, it was easy to spot you as like a pedestrian or like an extra character, but not the main character. So that was the one I was trying to figure out. Most. And I was like, okay, maybe he's Gambit, maybe he's Cyclops, you know, because he's got a lot of stuff on there. I love the Cyclops one, by the way, and then the Hercules too, because I remember you mentioned that. I can't remember if you said like, oh, I used myself a couple times, and in some of them, you know, I don't have that body type, but I was like, okay, maybe it's him, maybe it's Hercules.
No, I'm trying to. I've got my a second page open here with all of the pictures on it. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not me, the Hercules. No, that guy is built. That guy is built for real, and
I mean, I was basically just looking for characters with like a beard, you know.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's funny. Like more often, I had to take beards away. Like most of the models that I was working with had some kind of facial hair, and most of the characters don't. So it was kind of fun when, like, Hercules has a beard, so I could just kind of go with it. Or with Wizard,
right.
Just gonna go ahead with that.
Yeah. I was like, that's got to be him, and I was thinking to myself, if this is not him, then I am terrible at this game. So yeah, I was like, this is him. It's got, and I literally put the slide in this morning, so I was really excited to have found that. And it's just really cool that, you know, it's been out for a couple of weeks, less than 2 weeks, and there's still like a trickle. Like I don't think anyone has all the cards or has seen all the cards, which is really, I kind of like this slow rollout of people being like, I found this one. It's never been, you know, it hasn't been posted by any official site or, you know, I know that like Upper Deck or I think another website have only like, they've released the checklist, but they don't include images with them, which is kind of, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah. So I did put all the images up on my personal website maybe like 4 days ago, just really recently. Yeah.
Oh man.
A couple of people had been writing and asking, and I was like, yeah, that's something that I've been meaning to do. I just needed to, you know, find an afternoon where I could put that together. So
that's exciting. I'm gonna definitely go there after this talk. And so I
Oh
know
yeah.
we couldn't talk about this last time because not all the characters had been released, or yeah, at least the roster and stuff. And so, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the characters that you wanted to do but didn't get to,
Hmm.
or because this is obviously a list of characters that I was looking for it and didn't find. And some of these were pretty surprising to
So this is
me.
an interesting list. I can tell you most of this list is for legal reasons. Or I shouldn't say it's for legal reasons, but I will say Upper Deck told me we can't. I think it's a long-standing thing that Silver Surfer is not a doable character. So I don't actually know why for any of this. I just know that there is some reason
Yeah.
that because of the contracts that the licensors have
Mm-hmm.
with with the people doing different products, no Silver Surfer and no Fantastic Four or Fantastic Four adjacent characters,
Yeah.
which includes Doctor Doom. That was the major bummer for me. I really wanted to do a Doctor Doom,
Huh.
and yeah, I think that that's like a new-ish thing. I think that Doctor Doom was in the 2018 set, and Jesus, now I'm like second guessing everything. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Well,
Nightcrawler was one that actually. So I was surprised that they didn't give me Nightcrawler because Nightcrawler was in my request list, but they didn't really say anything about it either.
mm,
And then in the Phoenix Force, you can see little silhouettes of figures down at the bottom, and it's supposed to be kind of like a Dark Phoenix saga
oh,
scene with the X-Men down below there. And in the closest one to us in the original painting is Nightcrawler, and that was a note. They came back and they're like, we can't have Nightcrawler, you got to turn him into somebody else. So if you look at the image on my website, it is Nightcrawler. If you look at the printed card, it's Banshee, which would have been
interesting.
another like appropriate for that story arc character.
Yeah, yeah.
um
Huh. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, obviously, I understand the legal reasons. I mean, that's just like an easy reason to not be able to do characters for legal reasons.
Just there's some kind of red tape there, and I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
I don't know the particulars. And some of these I'm not sure. I doubt that was the case with Carnage, for example. I think that maybe they just wanted to rotate Carnage out and rotate in some characters that hadn't been done before, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
uh and Shang-Chi, actually, I painted, and then they took Shang-Chi out of the set. And so there is a Shang-Chi. I don't know if anyone's allowed to see it. I should find out about that. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
find out and let me know because I would very much like to check it out. Um,
yeah.
hmm.
That one, actually, I think that I had just finished it. There were a couple that had to get replaced late in the game, and I think I had just finished the Shang-Chi, and I got an email that was like, "Hey, sorry, we have some kind of like last minute uh, changes coming down from the licensor, and
Yeah.
we need to swap out some characters." So
Huh.
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious. Like, you know,
I think it was because of the movie coming up. I'm not sure why that would make them not want to
right.
do it, but there's a couple of like upcoming MCU projects that it seemed that they maybe just wanted to steer clear of for reasons that are above my pay grade.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Right, right. Was there any character besides Doctor Doom where you kind of you did say, are you sure I can't do this? Or was that like, was there any like one character where you kind of really wanted to do and you tried to make it happen but just couldn't?
um I think they would have all fallen under the Fantastic Four umbrella. So that kind of all was part of that same conversation. Yeah.
Mm.
Because yeah, obviously, like there are a lot of Fantastic Four characters that I think would be really fun. I mean, obviously, I really like doing a lot of these scenes have this really kind of like dramatic, fiery backgrounds, and
Oh
Human
yeah.
Torch would have been super fun to do.
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah, yeah. Doctor Doom was. I was like, he was also like a Spider-Man villain sometimes,
Right.
but you know,
Right.
doesn't count.
Oh, you tried to spin it? I love that. Like, oh, come on, he's fought everybody. He's not just a Fantastic Four villain.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, at some point, I'm guessing lawyers had to sit down and make lists of what characters belong to what franchises, and
Yeah.
because obviously Doctor Doom is a Fantastic Four villain, and
Sure.
that was where he was created and where he showed up the most. But yeah, some of them are a little fuzzier than others, I guess. But yeah, we all know, like, just because, you know, Green Goblin might have shown up in a not Spider-Man comic, he's definitely a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was just really interesting putting this list together because I knew I wanted to, obviously, in this interview, my notes for this was ask Dave everything I couldn't ask him in the first interview.
Yeah.
And this was one of the big ones. And I was just like, as I was putting this together, I was like, yeah, there are a lot of Fantastic Four characters in this one. And I wasn't even purposely saying like, oh, I really love Silver Surfer, but I was like, okay, there's no, you did the Hulk. And I was like, okay, well, if the Hulk's in there, then the Thing must be in there too, because they always fight. And then I was like, no Thing. And I was like, okay, well, what about the Human Torch? Because you're right. I did notice, and there's a slide that I think you'll enjoy, but I was like, okay, he really likes fire. What about Human Torch? And there's no Human Torch. I'm okay, well, what about the rest of the Fantastic Four? And they weren't there, so.
Yeah.
It was just like a process of elimination.
I'm trying to remember when Into the Spider-Verse came out. Do you remember what year that released?
Spider-Verse, I think, was 2018.
This might have all been, like, the wheels might have been already turning. I want to look this up because...
because when did you start? You started this 2018.
I started in spring of 2018. Well, we started...
or talking, right. Yeah, and because Miles has shown up, or Ultimate Spider-Man has shown up in previous Marvel Masterpiece cards. So I was just like,
Yeah, the movie came out in 2018. The movie came out in 2018. So because that was something that I remember when I was working on one of the Spider-Man paintings, thinking like, oh man, it would have been really fun to do a Miles Morales version of Spider-Man. Like, even do like both versions in the same set would have been cool. But my memory of watching that movie was, I know I was already like neck deep in working on the project, because it took me, I didn't get to see the movie until it had already been out for a little while, so I was a little bit late to the game on that. But yeah, I remember, like, and now that you mention it, like, I'm gonna look into if Miles Morales is fair game for sketch cards. I don't think I've heard otherwise, because that would be a fun one that I would definitely want to do if there's not any restrictions on him. Yeah,
cool. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Some of these have, either a movie coming out or something. So I was like, okay, well, or a video game.
Also, like, excuse my ignorance if Miles Morales predates Into the Spider-Verse. That was the first that I was introduced to the character.
Same here.
I'm out of the loop with current comics, so maybe I think actually he has been around as a comic character prior to that. So I don't know. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't make any sense at all.
No. I mean, it totally does. I'm pretty sure it was the first introduction for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. I
hate getting my nerd facts wrong, and I'm pretty sure I am.
There's too much to keep track of, especially nowadays. So do not feel bad at all. And speaking of characters that people aren't too familiar with, like I said, let's back up. How do I get back? Here we go. So, these are like, I was surprised that the Phoenix Force was a character, like, I was like, huh? Which is cool. So what was that like, having to do a character that isn't necessarily a character?
Yeah, it was. So that was one of the few times where because I would send in thumbnails to my art director, and then I wouldn't turn in proper sketches until a while later, but that was just to kind of like make sure that we were on the same page. And that was one of the very rare ones that from the thumbnail stage, they were like, No, not Phoenix, the Phoenix Force. Because yeah, my original concept was more of like,
The
you know,
person.
still with the big flame Phoenix, but with you know, like the Phoenix character
Yeah.
centered in there. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I had a different take on that one. That was another one of those, like, you remember it one way and you go back and look at the comic book and it's different from the picture that's
Yeah.
been sitting in my head for all these years. But there's a part in the Dark Phoenix saga where she like goes and flies off to some other solar system and like eats a planet, basically, like sucks all the life out of a planet
Yeah,
to
yeah.
recharge. And I had this memory of the Phoenix that was kind of like all the people on the planet being terrified, and the giant Phoenix like coming up over the horizon, which is where this
Oh.
idea started. And then when I went back and looked at the comic, I was like, oh, that's like kind of what happens, but not how it happens. And then when I sent in my thumbnail, the art director was like, so are these the X-Men down there, or are those you know, people who are like just other people?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, it definitely works better if it's the X-Men down there, because that kind of brings it back to that more recognizable story moment. So yeah, that one really kind of went on a little bit of an evolutionary journey. um but yeah,
Yeah, I
fun to
I
paint.
think the scene you're thinking of is from the animated X-Men show, because there is a scene where Phoenix is going across the ocean, and then
Okay.
so I think that's what you were. I don't know if you watched the cartoon
I
show.
I don't know. I think it might have been like every once in a while there's just something that, like, I remember a scene from a movie in a way that it's like you remember between the cuts almost, you know, like
Yeah,
there's something that your imagination kind of fills in gaps. And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that was really what was happening there.
Mm.
It's happened to me a few times where there's like, you know, like that thing with Spider-Man and Mysterio, you know, where it's like I
Yeah.
go back and look for it and it's like I can't find it. It's or I find it and it's like this is not how I remember it. But yeah, it's just it's like it's half there, you know.
Right, right.
And I think, like you were saying, the Morbius man spider thing was probably what I was thinking of with that one. And then it kind of translated into like, oh, that would be something that Mysterio would do,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. I
So
mean, either way, it works. And I think, for I think what you did eventually, it was just like, it was great. I was like, I need that. Makes me want to open up more packs. Maybe we'll do one more before we leave. And then so here's just, the other Mysterio one that you did, which I really, really liked.
so there's actually three. There's also a canvas gallery Mysterio.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. Man. So in some instances, you were drawing the same character more than twice.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Did you?
did 4 Thors. I don't know why. There's 4 Thors in the set. He's the only
Were
character that shows up that many times.
interesting. Were you by the fourth time kind of like, I can't draw Thor in any other poses? Like,
Weirdly, like I thought it was really cool to get to do that many versions of Thor, but he was one of the kind of like key characters. I think that he was the toughest one for me. I don't know why I kept feeling like I was having a hard time really like getting into the essence of Thor. And the two of them are versus cards, which
mm,
is kind of different, you know. But yeah, I thought it was fun to do multiple versions of characters, you know. It's like I think the 2 different Venoms
yeah.
are an example of like just doing one as an action pose and one as more of a kind of like portrait. And that was fun because there were some characters where I was like really had a hard time deciding which way I wanted to go on that. And so if I had multiple takes to do, then I got to do both of them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Especially for the Thor one. Was it, Thor in different variations of Thor, or was it like just the same Thor but doing different poses?
So the base Thor, he's kind of in profile and he's flying through lightning, and it's a very kind of like it's like kind of a mix of portrait and action, because he is doing something active. He's not coming at us or looking at us, but it also is very kind of like posed and graphic. And then the canvas gallery Thor is more of a straight up like heroic portrait, where we're kind of like low angle looking at him, and he's just like standing there, you know, looking very strong, and hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah, the Fabio one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just, you know, seeing the different versions of the same character, but, you know, it not only like in the look being completely different, but just like the scene they're in. I just really enjoyed it. Like the arcade one. I really hope I get the other arcade one, because that I love he's kind of like in a, you know, in a like a monitor room, and he's just like having popcorn. I really love that.
Yeah, and it's with the holofoils, I didn't know how the effect was going to look, and so that was one where I think that it does look really cool with the holofoil, because it looks like static on TV screens.
Yeah.
But if you go see the actual version on my site, there's details in the TV screens that I think you can't really see maybe on the printed card. I feel like a few of the holofoils are kind of like that, where it works, but then there's like more to the original piece that maybe is like difficult to see through the foil effect. So.
Interesting. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that, because like in the last couple of slides where I put Mojo as like a character that was missing, like you know, I was hoping to get a scene where Mojo is just watching a bunch of different characters doing stuff, and this is basically that. And so now I want to go check out the holofoil version.
Mojo would have been really fun too. I was a fan back when I used to read comics. I was a big fan of Excalibur, and I remember Mojo would show up sometimes in Excalibur issues. But that would have been one. There were a couple characters that was just like trying to come up with a good Deadpool gag. Felt like, all right, this is, I really need to take my time and like go through a lot of ideas before I find the right one on this. I think Mojo would have been one like that too. Like it would have been, you know, I don't know what I would have done for Mojo.
Right.
It feels like it's got to be something like it's really got to be just right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and it's like, you know, Mojo's only been done a few times, and of those few times, they've been more or less the same. So it's like, because it's like the go-to imagery, right? He's, you know, surrounded by monitors, and
he's got that crazy, like all that stuff going on in his face that just, it really looks like it would be fun to paint. So
yeah. I was like, oh man, if Dave does this, it's gonna be insane. I just wanted to show this one because you mentioned this was, I think, the first one you ever did. Is that right? The first one?
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool, because that was one of my questions. Like, who was the first character you finished? And it was cool that you'd posted this on your Instagram. So it's kind of nice to, you know, find out what that was. It's really cool that you're sharing that. And then, you know, just, you know, it seemed like the community is just really, really supportive. I think, you know, like Joe Jusko, I know has been like commenting, just being really, you know, just kind of like, you know, just being really supportive. So
yeah, it's been, everybody's been really great. So it's always, whenever Joe chimes in, it's always like, oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, I know, because he's kind of like he's like the godfather of the Marvel masterpieces. So it's nice to kind of, you know, get that that feedback from him. One of my other questions was, which pieces are you not gonna ever give up, or which one are you keeping? And it was funny that this was one of them, right?
This is one of the ones that was just kind of like, this doesn't need to be this complicated, but I really want to do this painting, you know. And there's just like so many friends of mine that are in this painting, and it's also a character that I was like, I don't think anybody's gonna be upset if they don't get to buy Pip the Troll.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go all out on this one for me.
Sure, yeah.
know.
That's hilarious. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody, but it's like I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. I would love to like at some point just see your office and then have that in the background. That would be so funny. But yeah, and this is just also I think this is one of my favorite, Green Goblin paintings I've ever seen. And everyone thinks so too. So I just thought that was really cool. And then so as I was putting this slide presentation together, I think what I liked about your work on this is that I can, because you're a fan of like that of fire and flame and explosions and everything. It's cool that I was able to put some of these cards together and it kind of formed a bigger scene in a way, which I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, did he plan to do this? Cause it kind of works. Like they might not be in the same scene, but they're in the same universe.
I mean, yeah, part of it is that I just really like painting fire, and I think that it can make for really cool dramatic compositions. And also, I was like, these guys are just destroying shit everywhere they go. So it does seem like everything will be on fire or smoking rubble at some point. So.
Sure. Yeah. They're leaving a trail of destruction. So it totally makes sense. Yeah. I was just like, I wonder if like, you'd laid it out at some point and you're like, this is actually part of like a huge scene. Cause I know a lot of collectors who don't collect the entire set. They like to collect specific cards. And so what I used to do is I used to collect cards that I could put into a scene, or at least in a 9-card environment. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
It's funny actually. Like I hadn't quite thought about that. There are. Well, I was when I was painting. I'm thinking about that the fire isn't always quite the same. Like I feel like the Ultron fire is kind of different from some of the others. Yeah. And sometimes it's a little more tinting orange, and sometimes a little more tinting to the like kind of pale yellow side. And it hadn't occurred to me to group them that way, but I love it.
Yeah, it's fun
to look at.
It is. And here's another one I really enjoyed too.
Okay. Smoke and fire are two things that are my friends when it comes to building atmosphere.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's like, okay, I'm definitely going to have one page of fire, one page of just like ashes and rubble. And it's cool. I just think it's nice because for some people who cannot collect the entire collection, if they can, collect some of these, they can still have, a mini set or a little collection. So
that's, as I understand how a lot of people are collecting the modern sets, or like they focus on one character and try to get like as many parallels as they can of that character. And so it's cool, I think, like to think of different ways to put together a collection.
Yeah. Plus they just look really cool next to each other. So I just like, I gotta, and
you can, I'm seeing now you can do like pages by general color story.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's really awesome. Do you have time for one more?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Let's do a pack.
Let's do one more and we'll wrap it up. Does that sound, I mean, no pun intended, but okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have you pick, Dave. You pick the pack.
I'm going to go left side, first one down, first one under the top.
First one under the top. This side, right?
Sorry, my left.
Okay,
You're
so
right.
this side.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let's do this.
This really is going back to like buying Magic cards and stuff.
So this one.
So that one, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is your pick. All right. This is good. I was like, how can I make this more interactive? I'm going to let you choose. It's like choose your own adventure. Okay, here we go. This is it. So this is your pick. Do you have a certain way you open cards?
No, I think what you're doing is what I would do. Yeah.
Be very gentle. These thicker cardstock is very, it makes you, because before the cards were so thin, there was more room for
more give.
Yeah. These are, they fill the pack up. It's like, Okay, here we go. Oh, this one's tough. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. First one.
Nice.
Yeah, this one's really cool.
That one's me.
Is it? I was gonna
Yeah.
say, like, when I saw this, I was like, I wonder if this is him.
Yeah. Because then I was like, yeah, I can really like fuck up my own face. And
That's hilarious. Were you actually holding a knife?
I think I was holding like a kitchen knife and then redrew it as the
That's so
like
funny.
Marine Corps knife. Yeah.
Oh man. Huh. I'm just putting this up next to. Okay.
Wait,
All right.
you can't see it?
Is this the one where you had to like visualize yourself without the beard?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I do that often enough anyway, but the fact that it doesn't matter how wrong it looks just made it like kind of fun. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's cool. I was hoping I'd get this one too. Pretty
Oh,
sweet.
nice. Yeah.
That's cool. Or is that you being grabbed down here?
It is me being grabbed.
Is
Yeah.
it? Wow. I'm getting good at this.
I'm really in a lot of support roles.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
these. Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, I'm cheap to work with and I'm always around. So,
Flexible schedule. Oh, this is interesting. Oh no, this one got damaged somehow. I guess so.
Oh.
So this is a sketch card. I
Oh
don't
no,
think
you
this
got a
is-
damaged sketch card?
Yeah, is that worth more? So let me
I
show
can't
you-
quite see what's
Yeah,
going
let
on.
me see if it focuses here. It's actually so right where it says Marvel,
Uh-huh.
piece of it got torn off right there.
Oh.
Do you see that?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I see it. So I've seen a couple people mention online that they had similar things happen, and I think you can contact Upper Deck and hopefully they'll
It's like rolled up.
do something. That's a sweet sketch though. Who's
It
that
is
by?
pretty cool. It's signed too. It's by Leon.
Here, we can figure this out.
So wait, did they actually sketch on this card? They sketched on the
Oh
card.
yeah. Yeah, that's a
That's-
piece of original art.
That's awesome.
So that's I'm glad that my pick from the box was a good one.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fitting that you picked the sketch one. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have you keep picking them from now on. I mean, I'm
Hang
kinda
on a
stuck with
second.
these,
Hang
but-
on a second.
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I didn't.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I didn't know they were. I thought when they meant sketch cards, it was just like a reproduction of a sketch.
So there are
know-
there are the preliminary art cards, which are reproductions of the sketches for the finals. But the sketch cards, those are all, it's all original art.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I didn't
That's a
realize
good
these cards were 3 cards in the stock. Like you can see the 3.
Like three ply.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. You must just be relieved that these are out now. You can just like talk about them and not have to. Is there
Yeah.
still anything that you can't talk about in terms of these cards?
I don't know. I think if there's anything that I can't talk about, I'm not going to talk about what I can't talk about. Like I'm
Great answer.
There are a couple things that come to mind that I'll look forward to hopefully being able to talk about at some point.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. Then we'll just.
But it's been super fun to, now that they're out, just to kind of like see
the response and
see how they have been received, and and watching people do breaks and watching people like trading. There's a lot of actual trading going on online,
I know,
which is
now I
super
can
cool.
get in on this and be like, these are what I'm willing to trade. Let me see what you got. So I'm very excited to finally. I was like trying to stay away from all the groups, and I was actually trying to stay away from your Instagram because I didn't want to like be surprised. I didn't want to be spoiled by what cards are still out there. It was tough. These last 2 weeks were really hard. But yeah, no, I would very much love to talk to you again in a little bit, and just to see how. I'm sure at some point someone's gonna have the whole set, and we'll we'll make fun of them for that. But yeah, no,
that'll be, if somebody puts together. I mean, that's the thing with all the parallels. It's like, what is a whole set anymore? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a whole set is 135 cards.
Right.
Doesn't matter. if it's a what if or a
Oh,
gold signature or whatever, it's like one of each piece of art to me is a whole set. But even that's no small feat, because those tier 4 cards are really short supply.
Totally.
So,
I know, and it's not like you can just go back and buy more packs, right? It's not like there's an unlimited supply. Whatever, like this is, I'm going to be honest, I do not think I'm going to be buying another box. This is it. Like whatever I get in this box is what I'm going to.
And I'm seeing some people talking about that they wanted to open a box because it's fun, but then they're going to be trading and selling, and then just direct purchasing like the pieces that they're going after. And I mean, it's like, it makes sense to, I think they're going to be doing the e-pack releases at some point down the line in the next like couple of months. And apparently like a lot of people are really into, because those you can just do instant trades, and then everybody gets their stuff shipped directly to them. So,
right.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool. I know there's still so much to, like what are these e-packs? What does that mean? So I got to look into those. But yeah, that's very cool. Well, if ever, I'll keep you posted if I find another cool card. I'll be like, I got it. But yeah, no, thanks again for being here. I really appreciate it. It's cool to just kind of catch up. And,
it's great talking with you. It was fun to open some packs with you there.
Yeah. No, I was like, I'm going to do this. Let's just, who cares if it's nerdy? But yeah, no, I really appreciate it. And then, I hope to talk to you again soon, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure a lot of people were like, these cards need to come out now. I can't take it. So yeah, but anyway, thanks again. And I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. See you, David.
All right. Bye.
Bye.